Well, welcome to problem 7-6A. You can tell by your workbooks that there's a lot to it. Let's start labeling. The first page, the first thing you see is a post-closing trial balance. So let's assume all the adjusting entries are done, all the closing entries are done. These are where the debits and credits shake out for the balance sheet accounts or the permanent accounts that would roll over. The first thing it's telling you to do is look at your subsidiary ledgers to make sure they contain AR stuff, AP stuff. The cost of merchandise sold was 60% of the sale price. Okay, so we're going to need to know that kind of stuff here coming up. Go to the next page. You're still on this, sorry. We have transactions for the month of January. What I want to do is write down where they all go. Yeah, in a test situation, you'd have to know where they all go, but I think, hey, first time we've done this in a while. Yep. They're all jumbled up together, and we need to know which of the 5 journals we're going to post to. You have space on the side, so I want you to write 5 journals. I shouldn't have used the word post, sorry. 5 journals. Let's start with CP. Cash payment is when we spend money or money goes out. What is the first CP transaction that you see? Start reading. Pay freight. So the January 11th one is a CP. Oh. Why? Because we are paying our freight. Okay, what's our next CP? Yes, pay rent. No, because it's still money going out. Because we're paying, okay? Next CP. The 18, because we're paying, yeah. Next CP. $27, because we sent them a check. There were 4, and we found the 4. Does that little stuff help? Yes, it is. I'm glad you guys found that one, CP, because we sent them a check. Yep, good call. There are 5. CR is money in. We are receiving money. If we're getting money, it's going to the cash receipts journal. What's our first one? January 7th, CR. What's our next one? Yep. What vocabulary prompts you to know that it's a cash receipts? Received payment. Good. What's the next one? I'd say the next one's kind of tricky. We're going to get to 29. There's one more before the 29th. 23, cash sales. Okay, and then we received a payment on the 29th as well. I think those are the easy ones because we're either getting cash or paying cash. And this is why I wanted to give you a handout so you could write on it. Okay, let's do the next one, sales. Sales, there's a little bit more to the story. Sales are when we sell merchandise or inventory. The key word there is on account, and this will eventually be posted to the AR subsidiary ledger. So anytime we're selling merchandise on account, what if we sell something and they pay with cash? Cash receipts. What's our first sale on account? What date? Top one, January 3rd. It said sell merchandise to Zeismer, $8,000 with terms. Terms simply mean on account. Okay. There's one more. What other date was there a sale on account? 24. Yep. Sell merchandise on account to iKirk. Okay. And then what's the last journal? Well, I shouldn't say the last, but the last special one. Purchases. And that's when we buy merchandise or inventory on account. And that is AP. Now, before, like last week, which seems like so long ago that I've seen you, we talked about that, well, what about when we buy supplies? Or what about when we buy equipment on account? In a single column purchases journal, it's only merchandise. And this is a single column. Single column. And we'll look at it in a minute. So if we were buying equipment, it's not going to purchases. Not equipment, not supplies. Okay, so let's look and see what dates. You might say, well, it's the rest of them. What's our first purchases date? 5, January 5th, we purchased merchandise. So that's P, and I'm telling you there's one more. 17th, good, purchase merchandise. Okay, so what about the rest of them? The 14th, the 20th, and the 30th. What about those 3? Yep. Those are the general journal, and that's everything else. We know that adjusting, closing, correcting go there. But in this case, any of our returns that we have and anything dealing with notes, receivable or payable, go in the general journal. We're going to get into the posting in a minute. Cassidy, that was a good question. So the 14th is general, the 20th is general, and the 30th is general. If you happen to have a highlighter out, grab it. I don't have my stash over there anymore. If you happen to have a highlighter out, it doesn't want you to post after every transaction. It gets to be too much page flipping, and it tells you when they want you to post. They want you to post right here on the 14th, post all entries so far. And then on the 24th, they say post all entries again. And then on the 30th, they want you to post. So they don't want you posting every time to the general and the subsidiary ledgers. They prompt you to do it. What's kind of annoying, I wish they wouldn't have dated it. I wish they would have just said post. Because post all entries and issued credit to Hannigan, that doesn't go together. They're just saying on the 14th, go ahead and post right now. Right. So like January 3rd, 5th, 7th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, we're going to wait to post until they prompt us. Good question from Blake. Okay, I want to pause for a minute and answer questions. Sarah. $24. I know, but that doesn't go together. What's going on the 24th doesn't go together. They're just saying, okay, you've had transactions now from the 15th, the 17th, the 18th, the 20th, the 23rd. Now go ahead and post. This doesn't go with the actual transaction. I wish the book would have had that as one line item, but they didn't. Jacob? We're going to do that together, but I don't know if we're going to get to that today. No, because they're saying post entries first, and then that sell merchandise would get posted on the 30th. You're going to see it happen as we do it. Okay, we're not done labeling yet. Go to your next page. This is your first page in your workbook. Please, on your cash receipts journal, circle CR1. On your cash payments journal, circle CP1. What does that mean? Cash receipts page 1, cash payments page 1. That is going to matter for posting, which I don't know if we're going to get to today. We'll see. Cash receipts is money in. Cash payments is money out. For everything, not just pertaining to merchandise or inventory. When we pay our rent bill, or when we pay our postage bill, or when someone just shows up with cash, money in or money out. That's really all you need to know there. Okay. On the next page. Sorry, this is, my printouts are really bad. I'm sorry, but you've got a nice workbook. Sales journal is S1. Purchases journal is P1. Notice it's only one column. I'd write that in right there. And then general journal is G1. Notice they've dated the general journal too for us. Lovely. Sales is any time we sell to a customer on account, and this is tied to AR. Purchases, I should add, what are we selling? Merchandise or inventory. Those two words kind of go hand in hand. The purchases are anytime we buy on account, or in other words, AP. And because it's single column, it's only merchandise or inventory. That's a big one. And general journal is everything else. In this case, it has to do with returns, notes, either payable or receivable. On to the next bit of labeling. We are in the general ledger. This is the big part of the tree. Pretty soon we're going to add tree branches with the subsidiary ledgers. We're going to mark things up. Everything you see here on this page is an asset that belongs to the balance sheet. We own all of this stuff. So don't get too quick to do this because there's a contra account in here, but let's add our pluses and our minuses. Don't go all the way down because accumulated depreciation is a little bit different. How much cash do we have right now? $41,500. Now when you get down to accumulated depreciation, that's what's called a contra account. It contradicts the value of equipment. So if you look at that, we own $6,450 worth of equipment, but is it really worth that much? No, we'd have to subtract off that $1,500. And so because of its contra account nature, it's going to be opposite, a minus and a plus instead of a plus and a minus. Okay, the other label that I want you to do is this. And maybe that's a little dramatic. But this is a control account, meaning it has its own tree branch somewhere else with all of the little ARs. Instead of trying to jam it all in there to that control account, we'd never fit it all. So that's why we say, okay, We'll just let this be the snapshot. The tree branch with all of the little limbs will be the bigger picture. Go to the next page. What's going on? There we go. These are liabilities, also part of the balance sheet. Owner's capital is owner's equity, part of the balance sheet. Notes payable is a minus and a plus. Accounts payable is a minus and a plus. I see another control account. Would all the people that we owe money to fit in this little box? The tree branch would break. So then we say, all right, we're going to set up a whole AP ledger to just itemize out all the vendors that we owe. Okay, all of these are part of the income statement. Sales is a minus and a plus. Oh, I forgot owner's capital. That's a minus and a plus. But then these three guys are plus minus because they are all contra accounts to sales. Because sales is a good thing, but sales returns and allowances are going to reduce the sales. Sales discounts that we give are going to reduce the sales, and cost of goods sold will reduce the value of the sales. Lots of labeling, but it helps. These are contra accounts to sales. They like reduce the value of sales. That's why the pluses and minuses are all opposite. Because if someone returns something or we give a discount, that actually reduces the whole value of sales. Okay. This top portion is still income statement because we have our two expenses, which are also naughty accounts. They don't follow the rules. But now we're finally into one of the subsidiary ledgers. So that's a big tree, that whole general ledger. But on page 425, we have our first subsidiary ledger, AR. So these are the tree branches that stop that AR control account from breaking because we just have a tree branch for each of them instead. So a little bit more about these. These are assets. They are a list of customers who owe us money. Okay, and so being that they're assets, it's plus minus, plus minus, plus minus all the way down. And these need to talk to the control account eventually. Info will need to be transferred. I spelled that one wrong. To the AR control account. And then on the next page, we see our AP ledger. These are all liabilities. These are vendors we owe money to. Being that they're liabilities, it's minus plus all the way down. But it also, like AR, needs to talk to the AP control account. Yes, question from Coral. Nope, the control accounts are in the general ledger. Those are the tree branches that would break. Yes, those are the control accounts. Those tree branches would break if we tried to stick all of this information into it. So we just level out this tree a little bit and add more branches. question. There's some extra stuff at the end that we'll do next week. Now, is it okay that I don't have this up on the screen? Because it's going to be too much screen flopping for you guys to watch. I want you to have this listing of the transactions handy. Let's try to get through the first set, like until the 14th when they want you to post. Can we try that? So I'm not going to show you this page. I'm just going to have it in front of me like you have it in front of you. Let's do it. January 3rd. Sell merchandise to M. Ziesmer, $8,000, terms 210 and 30, and we've marked it as sales. Let's stop and ask, why is it sales? We sold. Did they pay with cash? No. So we're going to go find the sales journal. What color pen do you want me to use? What shows up the best? Black? I just have to write slow, don't I? Okay. So I'm in the sales journal. What was our date? January 3rd. What was our debit when we sold something on account? AR. Why? Because that asset is increasing by $8,000 because that asset now owes us money and we own the right to getting paid. We're very used to listing our debit first and our credit second, aren't we? So this is really weird to us. Okay, do you see an AR debit somewhere in that list? The first column, right? So that's where we're going to list our $8,000, but stop and say, who? Notice it says account debited. We need to list who. We need to list so we know who charged this $8,000, okay? And so who gets recorded right here? M. Ziesmer. And if you want to even put AR behind it, you can. Question. When we sell something, it's actually not, credit isn't $8,000, is it? What's our credit? The inventory. Do you remember back here? And it was quick. They showed it to you very quickly. The cost of all merchandise sold is 60% of its sale price. So in this case, we'd take 8,000 because that's what we sold it for, times 60% is what? It is 4,800. So the cost of goods sold is 4,800. Let's go back to our sales journal. The 4,800 is going to be on that same line. Okay? Because the cost of goods sold and the inventory go hand in hand. Okay? I know this seems like, whoa, there's just so much going on in this tiny little sales journal. hang with me. We're not going to post anything. We are not going to post anything till it stops and tells us to. Okay? Let's go to our next transaction. January 5th. Purchase merchandise from eFiat, $2,000. Terms 210 and 30. What journal have we decided this is going in? Why is it purchases? We're buying something on account. We are not paying cash for it. So go to your purchases journal. The weird part here, it's all on one line as well. So January 5th. What's our debit if we're buying stuff? Inventory. What's our credit if we are charging it? AP. All on one line. How much stuff did we buy? $2,000. That is the inventory debit. But what do you think we need to do with the AP? We need to answer the question who, and then it's putting it over here. Who did we buy from? eFiat. And if you want to put AP there, you can. That seemed really easy, didn't it? Because we didn't have to calculate anything. You might say, whoa, what about the terms, the 210 and 30? When do those matter? Later, when the bills are being paid. And then we're going to go back up and reference. Okay. On to the next one. Received a check. I'm on January 7th. Received a check from T. Hodges. Money in or money out? Cash receipts. A lot of columns here, aren't there? Oh boy, we'll figure out what they mean later. January 7th. What was our debit when we get money? Cash receipts. And we only have a cash debit. That means money in. Do you see anywhere on here a cash credit? No, look down below here though. Down here we have a cash credit, and that's money out. Different journal, different story. Okay, so we are gaining cash. How much cash did we get paid? $3,500. We have a debit. What's our credit? When someone pays their bill, what's our credit? AR is going to go down. Do we have an AR credit column? But AR is super generic in this chapter, isn't it? We want to know who. Who paid their bill? T. Hodges. Let's move on to the 11th. Paid freight on merchandise purchased. When we pay, where's it going? Cash payments. When we pay merchandise, what inventory, or I just said it, what account is masked? What value, what account is increasing in value now? Inventory. Even though we didn't get more inventory, we had to pay to get it there, and it's increasing in value. So that's our debit. Do I see inventory debit anywhere in these columns? I see an inventory credit. Is the value of inventory going down? No, it's going up. So of the columns, where do you think this inventory debit's going to go? Other. Question for you, is the word other accounts debit really vague? What other account was debited? Inventory. How'd we pay for this? cash. Can we put that on line 1? Yeah, we can. And here's what's weird, if you haven't figured this out. If it's really super specific, it doesn't need to be told who or what over here. If it's vague, like something like AR credit or other account debit, if it's vague, we need to know more. If it's very deliberately saying cash credit, we don't need to put cash over here because it's already saying it on this side. Okay. What day are we on now? Pay rent. You guys already told me it's cash receipts. So, and that makes sense. We're paying. Money's going out. So on January 12th, what's our debit? What's our debit? Is it AR debit or inventory credit? No. So where is this, how much are we spending on rent? $1,000. Where is that $1,000 debit going to be listed? Is it other, AP, inventory, or cash? Other. Because I don't see anywhere along here rent expense. If I saw a rent expense column, then yeah, I could stick it there. But it's going to need to go to other. But is other super generic? Yeah, so it needs a label over here. What are we going to put over here? Rent expense, very good. I've got a debit. What's got to be the credit in this special journal? Cash for $1,000. Why do I not need to write cash over here? It says it. It's labeled already. Yes. January 13th. We received a payment in full from M. Ziesmer. Okay, hold the show. Did we already sell something to M. Ziesner? When did we sell to this person? On the 3rd. He's paying on the 13th with his original discount being if he pays within 10 days. Is he within his discount period? Yes. Maybe on your page, I'm going to move back here for a minute. Sorry, this is such a mess. I'll go like this to clean it up. On the 13th, I see M. Ziesner. On the 3rd, I saw M. Ziesmer, so that is, the 13th is referencing what happened on the 3rd. And that's confusing, especially in a big pile of transactions like this. So if he paid his bill, what journal are we going to? Cash payments or cash receipts? Cash receipts. Okay, this gets a little bit more complicated. January 13th. What's our debit if we got money? Cash. How much did he pay us? 7840. Yeah. Okay, but wait, what? I thought he owed us $8,000. Why is he not paying us the $8,000? We gave him a discount because that's a big deal in the AR and AP world. You pay that bill soon, we're going to cut you a deal. Because we want to get these liquefied. We want to get them turned into cash as fast as we can. So maybe, although I like to do debits first, let's actually do our big credit. What's the big credit here? What's the $8,000 deal? AR credit is the big one, okay? That AR credit is a good thing. We're happy about that because they paid their bill. It originally was a debit somewhere else, but now it's a credit because they paid their bill. But I have a little notation up here that says who paid their bill. I keep forgetting this person's name, M. Ziesmer. I thought we already put M. Ziesmer in a different journal. Why did we put him in the sales journal originally? Because he bought something and charged it. Now why are we seeing M. Ziesmer show up in the cash receipts journal? He's paying his bill. Speaking of the bill, we threw him a bone. He was originally 210 and 30. We've decided if he paid his bill on the 13th when he originally charged it on the 3rd, woohoo, he gets a 2% discount. What is that discount or the debit? $160. What did he actually pay us? Coral, I think you said it once. 7480, is that right? Okay. $7,840. Do our two debits equal our credit? I would even do something like this. What he paid us plus his discount equals what he originally owed us. Do we have one more transaction? No. Let's start posting. Because on the 14th it says, post all entries to the subsidiary ledgers. Does it say anything about the general ledger? No. It says nothing about the general ledger. So although, you know, we have some inventory and rent expense, we're not going to put that in the general ledger yet. We're only going to go to the tree branches, not the tree trunk. Okay? So let's do the AR ledger first. So flip to your AR ledger in your text or in your workbook. We're going to stop after we get done posting to these. Can you see why I was mad that I didn't have you yesterday? Because we're going to get a weekend chopped in here where I hope you don't lose all of your, yeah. I'm looking for mine. Okay. Did I find it? Yes. Okay, we have to get our journals talking to our ledgers. We're posting the activity. Did we have any activity in B. Hannigan? Have we heard from him yet? No. How about I. Kirk? No. How about T. Hodges? Okay. It looks like on January 1st, T. Hodges had a balance of $5,000 that he owed us. What happened on January 7th? He paid some of his bill, didn't he? Go to your cash receipts journal for me. Take your hand and bookmark this, flip back to your cash receipts, and let's talk about the activity that happened. Was there a debit or credit to T. Hodges? Read the little heading at the top where the number is. I'm in T. Hodges. I'm looking for T. Hodges in the cash receipts journal. Was it a debit or credit? Credit. Okay, $3,500 on January what? 7th. There's no need to explain. What page number did it come from? I know it came from 1, but be more specific. CR1. And then I'm looking above. I'm going to take $3,500. Am I going to add it to his bill or subtract it from his bill? What's his new balance? $1,500. Not the end of the story. Not the end of the story. Maybe it is. I thought each customer would have numbers. I guess not. Come back to your cash receipts journal. And you can put a check in there that you posted. I always thought we had customer numbers, but apparently not. In the reference right here that you did you posted that. Okay. Go back to your AR ledger. Have we had any activity in MZSMR? We've actually had 2 bits, haven't we? MZSMR is a customer that up until this month had no activity. What was the first activity that MZSMR did? On January 3rd, what happened? We sold him something. So you might have to look in your sales journal. So from S1, was it a debit or credit in the sales journal? Debit. 8,000 plus nothing is, what's his balance? 8,000. But then what happened later? Did he pay all or some of his bill? Did he? Way to go, MZSMR. When we got his money, what happened? What journal was it? CR1. Was it a debit or credit? So I'm going to put it in credit because that's what happened in the journal. I'm going to look above and see a minus. So I'm going to take 8,000 minus my balance. What's his new balance? What a guy. I thought he only paid us 7,840. That's different. We gave him a discount. This is, what did he owe us? What do we need to do now? Because we had activity there, we need to go to each of those journals and put check marks that we posted. So in cash receipts, I'm going to put another check mark because he paid his bill. And then in the sales journal, just do this quick. I'm going to put another check mark. I think. Let me double check.